So, Majid, we were discussing about how Pakistan used to play in the UAE and had more than 3 spinners at one time. They were having Mohammad Hafiz, Saeed Ajmal, Abdur Rahman, and then they inducted Shoaib Malik for the England Test series, and after which he retired as well. So that was an approach that Pakistan had in UAE, and all of a sudden we are now banking on 6 pacers to perform well in the UAE conditions with just one full-time spinner, and the other one was more like a batting all-rounder. Even though we don't know how good of a batsman he is, because he just never delivered for Pakistan with the bat. So how do you see that approach changing from Pakistan? It was completely like a 180-degree turn from Pakistan.
Mickey Arthur, if you see his experience, he's played with teams like Australia, he's coached with them, and then he coached South Africa. The conditions that he has the experience of are complete opposite of what you have in UAE. He has done that mistake once during the Sri Lanka series. We keep talking about it because it was a dark series for Pakistan, 2-0 loss
against this Sri Lankan team, which actually,
which is very under par, below average players. You lose to such a team in tests in your home conditions, where you have again all kinds of advantage to yourself. You have Yasir Shah, who is the best spinner in the world in the UAE conditions.
Absolutely.
And Pakistan are doing something. Pakistan team, even coach Mickey Arthur looks exhausted. They haven't played too much cricket. I guess the only problem is they are now very complacent. Mickey Arthur is comfortable that I'll run out my contract because I won Champions Trophy. With something looks wrong. Something, some people, some players, some management staff.
There's lack of hunger. You mean?
There is lack of hunger because. We think that Champions Trophy was everything that we always wanted, because we won a World Cup, we were 50 over World Cup, we also won the 20 over World Cup.
So that was the trophy that was missing.
That
and now
was
we have
the only
that
trophy that was missing from our cabinet, and now they think, I guess, that the trophy cabinet is complete and they have nothing else to do.
It is very interesting to see that the team that was announced yesterday, the Pakistan Test squad, they have Shadab Khan in there, and it was mentioned over and over again that he was not 100% fit. But now all of a sudden we are keeping him, and there's someone like Osama Mir probably, who's sitting in Pakistan and performing in Qaid-e-Azam Trophy. He's a seasoned campaigner. He performs really well. He's a brilliant leg spinner as well.
Let's not talk about first-class cricket, because Fawad Alam will come up again, and we don't want to discuss him because he's
obviously he cannot play for Pakistan.
Yeah,
he's not eligible to play for Pakistan.
He's not a big hitter like Mohammad Nawaz.
Yeah, and you need so many big hitters. Obviously, you need big hitters in the Test matches as well.
Apart from the sarcasm, the Test squad is once again, it's again confusing. It's ambiguous. It doesn't show a clear plan what you're trying to do. You're playing Bilal Asif, who has played only 2 or 3 tests, who has a lot of first-class experience. But again,
how can you drop someone like Osama Mir from this squad ahead of Shadab Khan? And Shadab does not look like a player who can actually perform well in
the
Test
selectors
cricket.
are actually going to the domestic matches, actually looking at the players, actually looking at them playing. I guess Cricinfo is their best guess.
And even if Cricinfo is their best guess, it's very surprising to see that they are actually preferring someone like Fakhar Zaman in the Test squad for some odd reason.
Who is completely out of form.
Who's not an ideal Test player. And then there is also like someone like Shan Masood, who should have been there, who is an outstanding player.
He has played 9 tests in UAE. He averages very low 20. I was just
But
looking at the stats. But at least he knows the
conditions. Or someone
conditions.
like Imam ul Haq for that matter. Why not? He's in good form. He should have been captain of the
It's
squad.
funny that Imam ul Haq or the likes of Usman Salahuddin are in the squad. Even Usman Salahuddin is more experienced than Imam ul Haq. He has played 100 plus first-class matches.
Yeah,
he has an average of 44. Yeah. And Imam, meanwhile, has an average of 42 in just 20 first-class matches. That is the kind of experience that he brings in. That is the kind of experience we've all been talking about.
Yeah.
That I have been specifically mentioning,
but
that Imam is just playing to justify his position. And meanwhile, Usman Salahuddin, a smart operator, he has scored tons of runs. Fawad Alam, let's not talk about him.
No, obviously he's not eligible to play.
He's not eligible. Still, he has a better average than Usman Salahuddin.
That doesn't matter because he's Fawad Alam and obviously he cannot perform.
The selecting criteria is so ambiguous. It's so frustrating at times that you don't want to even look at the matches, and you're like, even if we win, it would be some shamanic again, as the Sri Lankan captain said, a shamanic blessing or prayers of our fans. But all in all, the team, the chief selectors, they are losing the plot again and again now. After the Champions Trophy, Pakistan team, Pakistani selectors, everyone has looked out of sorts. I don't know what they're thinking, what they're trying to do. If they're trying to bring the young players in, they should bring them in against the Zimbabwe series. No young player played in the Zimbabwe series.
When you talk about what happened after the Champions Trophy, India, for that matter, they actually kicked out Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja, and they backed someone like Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav. And that was a very interesting move because Kohli kept on saying that two wrist spinners will win us matches. Yes, they will concede runs, but they will win us matches. And that was their approach, and that is very refreshing to see.
And you need to see that Kohli is backed by someone as great as Dhoni.
Yeah.
Sarfaraz doesn't have that kind of support behind him. Even after the Champions Trophy win, the only player that you retained over the longer period is Shoaib Malik. And no, they're not talking to each other.
Yeah.
They're not talking to each other on the pitch. We don't see them talking to each other on practice, I guess. I've never seen their practice pictures together discussing strategies or going to the pitch. Sarfaraz only has one experienced operator behind him, and he's not talking to him. I don't know what the team management is telling him. I don't see any differences in them. The team is quite capable of playing together. There is no politics involved, obviously. But I don't know, again, that barrier, the communication barrier has somehow appeared again in the team, and that is quite a worrying sign for Pakistan. They need to do something again, and we need to discuss the Asia Cup final as well.
Absolutely. We'll discuss about that and much more after the break.